Welcome to Homefront Sit Rep. I hope you're in for a great show today, because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find Homefront Sit Rep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out Homefront Sit Rep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting. Welcome to another exciting episode of Homefront Sit Rep. I'm Willis, and today I'm joined in studio, or not in studio, but with Mr. James Thornton. How are you today, James?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Man, I'm doing well. Today we got an exciting episode of Homefront Sit Rep. Today we're going to bring in somebody who is very involved within the veteran community here in the city of Louisville and the state of Kentucky. He's also a retired lieutenant colonel from the United States Army. He is also a lawyer in the city of Louisville and surrounding area of the Kentuckiana area. We are going to bring onto the stage retired Lieutenant Colonel Karl Truman. Welcome, Mr. Truman. How are you today, sir?
Oh, Willis, great to be on your show. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad you're on, and it's been a long time coming. We've been friends for quite some time. I've utilized your law office a time or two when I got at work or heard at work. And so, yeah, I'm glad to have you on finally on the show. And first off, let's go ahead and let you introduce yourself and your military history.
Well, sure. Well, again, I mean, I really enjoy your podcast, and it's such a great thing that you're doing to get the message out to so many veterans and topics that are so important to everyone. But just to give you a little bit of my history, I first enlisted in the United States Army in 1981, probably before many of your listeners were born. But I actually, my first issue uniform was actually khakis and ODs. So that's
man,
how far back I go. And then I went into Army ROTC at University of Kentucky. And this was in the Reagan buildup years when it was a good time to be in the military. And, you know, the military was doing very strong. And personally, but I always had two goals and career goals. I wanted to be a United States Army officer, and I wanted to be an attorney. I never wanted to be JAG. I always said I signed up to fight them, not to sue them.
Right.
So as I was getting commissioned, I was admitted to law school, and I was actually recommended for a regular Army commission through ROTC. Which, you know, was a pretty big deal. And so it was such a tough decision. Do I take an RA commission, go active duty, or do I request to go to law school? And I just decided, you know what, I got admitted to law school. I should go while the timing is right. And so I had to actually request reserve forces duty to be allowed to be assigned to the Army Reserve to be able to go to law school. And okay, I could go, you know, if I wanted to go active duty after law school, that was an option. But of course, what happens in everybody's situation, in law school, I met a girl and got married. And of course, that was active duty. It wasn't going to happen then. So, I stayed in the reserves, and I was armor officer, armor branch. Had a lot of great opportunities, even through the reserve forces, to be able to, go through armor officer, basic and advanced course, airborne school, air assault school. Attended as a lieutenant, I was able to attend an anti-terrorism course with the J.F.K Center in Fort Bragg, which was a really exciting thing to do. And just a lot of things. And back in those days, we did a lot of focusing on NBC defense operations. So different time back during the Cold War.
Yeah.
And well, I always say life was simpler then, when all we had to worry about was the Russian horde coming through the Fulda Gap.
Yeah. Unlike what we got to focus on today with our military now. I mean, there's just so many ways that anybody could strike at any moment. It's just crazy.
It is. It's much more complex landscape for everyone at every level of service. And so it was a great opportunities. People talk about reserve forces being 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks in the summer. Well, that's what the recruiters say. I know plenty of fellow reserve and National Guardsmen with CIBs and Purple Hearts. So it is not the reserve forces that it may have been, say, during Vietnam, when obviously people joined the reserves and guard to avoid being sent to Vietnam. But now it's not the way. It's definitely the reserve forces are an integral part of the military these days. It's not. And even during peacetime, there were times when I was on division staff, I would be gone 3 weekends out of the month on TDY somewhere. I mean, flying somewhere. It was, I look back at how I did it. I would go, and typically, 3 weeks of annual training, and I was active in my son's Boy Scout camp. I would go do that, and then I would turn around and do a family vacation. And it's one of those things. How did I do it? But you just do what you do. I mean, you just do it.
For sure. So like I got a cousin who's National Guard, and I tell you, he's deployed so many times, and he's actually getting ready to deploy again for another year. And it's like, dude, when he first joined up, he's like, all right, National Guard, 1 week in a month, 2 weeks during the summer. But no, they deploy all the time now, and it's just like, okay, cool. I like it that they're doing that for those guys, but a lot of them didn't sign up for that because they're like, okay, it's 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year during the summer, and that's all I got to do. But not nowadays. I mean, it's just like, all right, you're ready, let's go, let's get it done. Like,
the challenge with that is, I mean, we all want to do our duty. That's when you sign up, you wear the uniform, you go where the Army tells you to go, and yes, sir, and do the mission. But the challenge is the employers. There's so many employers, even though there is federal law that is supposed to protect reserve forces, from discrimination and for military service, but it happens. It absolutely happens. Being passed over for promotions, or even trying to be pushed out of employment. I mean, it's one of my frustrations, and we may be digressing here a little bit, but so many employers, they want to put rallying around the troops in their advertisements, but when it comes down to actually writing the checks, I always say everybody wants to people want to put a yellow ribbon sticker on their car until it comes time to write the paycheck.
Yeah. And that, like you said, there are a lot of American people, a lot of American employers. They say, oh yeah, we support the military. But you know, they're like, we had one guy that where I work at, he's like, well, I'm going back in, I'm getting deployed, I'm going to be gone for 6 months. Well, 6 months come around, he got extended. And the company was like, all right, well, what do we need to do to get him off the payroll? And we're like, you can't do that. So we had to fight it because they were trying to get him off the payroll. And it's like, no, you can't do that. He's serving his country. You know the law, and you're going to say you're going to try. So we fought it, and luckily he got to stay. He got to keep his job. He didn't lose any of his seniority. But yeah, a lot of employees out there, they don't understand that, you know, guys out there that signed up, ladies as well. Make sure I got to keep the female veterans in there as well. You know, they signed up to serve our country, and they should be able to hold their job. So,
and even reserve forces. I mean, I missed ball games and birthday parties and holidays and things. And so, yeah, I mean, it's challenging to juggle both, but so rewarding. I mean, looking back, the opportunities that I've had. I mean, I served as Deputy Chief of Staff of a 2-star division command. I was instructor with the Command General Staff College, which I really enjoyed. I mean, just so many opportunities that, and just the leadership experience and being, you know, because we all love being out with the troops, out with the soldiers, and
yes, sir, and
you know, supporting the men and women under our command. It's just so rewarding to be able to do that.
That's a sign of a good leader, because there are some leaders out there that are in position to be a leader, but if they don't interact with their soldiers or Marines or sailors or whatever, how are they going to get to know those the people underneath of them and be a good leader to them?
Well, we got to get out. We got to get out in the mud with our troops and let them know we're not afraid to get our hands dirty.
Yeah, because you got to gain that respect of that soldier, that sailor, that Marine that's underneath of you. And if you don't do that, they'll never have the respect for you or your leadership. So
what's the old saying? Lead by example.
Yeah, and lead from the front. And
yes, sir.
You know,
so I'm looking at your bio. Now you were 28 years in the military, retired as a lieutenant colonel. Yes. Army Officer Basic and Advanced course at Fort Knox, Nuclear Biological Chemical Defense Operation Court, the Air Assault course at Fort Campbell, Airborne School at Fort Benning, M1 Transition course, Anti-Terrorism Instructor course, Combat Armed Service Staff School, Total Army Instructor Training course, Command and General Staff College, Reserve Component National Security Issues, seminar with the Army War College. And that's just a highlight of some of the things that you did with your 28-year career. Now, after you retired, now your law practice, did it start before you retired or?
Oh yes, no, I've been an attorney for how many? Gosh, trying to add it all up, 35 years. Huh?
I said, don't show your age.
Yeah, that's all right. You got to be, after a certain point, you got to be proud of your age, you know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You got to be proud that you made it this far.
So, yeah, you've been a personal injury lawyer for a really long time. And you've helped numerous people throughout your tenure as a lawyer. And you got 2 offices. You got one in Southern Indiana and one in Louisville. And your staff are very well knowledgeable, depending on whether it's workers' comp, whether it's just personal injury. I know that the staff that helped me when I got hit at work, they were Johnny on the spot. Anytime I called, anytime they needed anything, they took really good care of me. And then I recommended your office to other people that got hurt on the job as well. And you know, and everybody has nothing but good things to say about the Truman Law Office. So,
well, thank you so much, because that is, you know, and it comes back to the Army values. You know, I've really used the Army values to instill into my employees of my law firm and how I conduct my law firm, and you know, mission first. You know,
yes, sir.
And that's been one of my core values is promoting that. And so, you know, thank you for acknowledging that, because that's what I believe in. That is what we push. And and again, leading by example, if, when my employees, how they see me interact with clients in the community, and, hopefully that instills that in them.
And a lot of your employees, so we're going to transition just a little bit here. You do a lot of fundraising and supporting the local veteran VSOs throughout the city of Louisville and Kentuckiana area.
Mhm.
A lot of your employees will actually help you and jump on board with, whether hosting events or sponsoring events. They jump on board and they're right there with you in the trenches, and that says a lot.
Absolutely. And well, I have two employees who are veterans, and I would love to hire more if I could find them. It's just, finding any employees these days is a challenge, but yes, we pitch in, and because giving back to the community, and particularly the veteran community, is so important to me. That is one of my passions. My wife and I had served on the board of Honor Flight, when it would take doing several flights with World War II veterans. I mean, that was just such a rewarding experience. But, our passion, we do a lot of other things too, with local schools, elementary schools, high schools, and, but the veteran support is the core focus of where we want to give back, because, the Army was good to me. It was a treasured experience. And as I think we would all agree, what we really miss from our service is the people we were with.
Yeah, the camaraderie. Yeah.
Yes. And that continues on, even today. And, we all have our veteran hat that we wear. I've a retired Army hat, and I've said, we don't wear our hat to be recognized by, a civilian. Oh, thank you we wear it so we can connect with other veterans.
Yes, that is key. And funny thing is like, if I'm out, like say I'm at Walmart or I'm at Chick-fil-A or wherever I'm at, and somebody walks in and I'm automatically looking at them, I'm like, all right, I bet you anything he's either law enforcement or a veteran, just by the way they walk. And my wife's like, how do you know? I was like, you can just tell.
That's so true. That is so.
And there's not a veteran that I won't walk up to and talk or shake their hand and thank them for their service. Even though I am a veteran, I'm going to do that because that's my brother, that's my sister, and we all share a bond, regardless of what branch we're in. Like James, he's an Army guy. He was with 10th Mountain during Black Hawk Down, Operation Gothic Serpent, and me and him met and we clicked right from the get-go. And he's new to the Veteran Service Organization. He was just an ambassador for Warrior Rounds. And he's like, man, what I need to do, what I need to do, what I need to do. And we're steering him in the right direction. We're going to get his Warrior Rounds Kentucky set up and do good things for him, just as an advisor. I don't want to be on his board or nothing of that nature. I just want to help him. I want to help him succeed in what he's doing. And like you help a lot of people out there being advisors on boards here, there. And like I said,
I'm particularly talking about recognizing or acknowledging veterans. I am particularly passionate about acknowledging whenever I meet a Vietnam War veteran.
There you go.
They did not get any recognition or thanks. So every time I see a Vietnam veteran, I go out of my way. I mean, I will walk out of my way to go shake their hand and say, welcome home.
Well, if you mark your calendar for July 25th through July 30th in the city of Shepherdsville, I'll have you a special place where you can thank all the Vietnam veterans you want to thank.
I would love that.
Yeah, you can bring your Mustang out there if you still got the Mustang.
We're bringing on Veterans Day here, November 11th. We're bringing a retired Sergeant Major from the Marine Corps, Sergeant Major Brown. He's 96 years old. He served in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. And when he retired the first time, he was home for about 6 months. And he said, I can't do this. I can't do this. So he contacted the commandant of the Marine Corps and said, I need to come back in. And the commandant's like, it's in the mail. Come on. He had to go back in.
Have you ever met, he's a local gentleman. He's a retired Army Sergeant Major Harold Griffin.
I haven't. No, sir.
You need to meet him. He received a Purple Heart in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam.
Wow.
Holy cow.
I said, I don't know if I want to be near you or far away from you.
Right. Yeah, no, that's crazy. So what James is talking about with the Sergeant Major is Mission Barbecue on November 11th on Veterans Day is doing the 30th anniversary of the Moog Mile Black Hawk Down.
Right.
And they're going to have a Black Hawk helicopter there. They're going to have the old time.
No Black Hawk. No Black Hawk. They couldn't get the paperwork in time.
Oh, they couldn't get the paperwork. All right. So they're going to, but anyway, it's going to be a big thing at Mission Barbecue there on November 11th. And Sergeant Major Brown's going to be there. I think it's going to be a great, great event.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So yes. Now I'm reading here about some of the things that your office does when it comes to community. You got Operation Christmas Spirit. You got Indiana, Kentucky Veterans of the Year Award, which is coming up for Kentucky here shortly. You got the Bluegrass Honor Flight. You got the Flag Ride for USA Cares, and numerous that are not even listed on here.
Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association. I mean,
because you do the bike nights at Kingfish down on the river and other areas as well. So yeah, you're very, very involved, and your office is very involved as well. So now you also just recently started a podcast, if I remember correctly. Am I correct?
Yes, I've done a podcast in the past, and then with my schedule got kind of busy, didn't kind of dropped off, but now I'm trying to revive it back. Now
that's for biker awareness, if I remember correctly.
A lot of things. I mean, well, and one of the things talking about bikers, a couple of times a year I host it's called an accident scene awareness class, where I have EMTs, paramedics put on specifically first aid training and for biker accidents. So to help promote safety and awareness, what to do at the scene, how to manage the scene. And so that's been an extremely popular event that I host. But
well, that's awesome.
So yes, but did I understand you correctly, sir? Are you involved with the Combat Vet Association motorcycle group, or
only as a supporter? Only as a supporter. I'm not a member, but I respect them and what they do and their camaraderie, how they look after each other. So I've tried to do what I can, to support them. So like last year they had their annual convention, their national convention in Louisville. And so I was a contributing sponsor to help them bring that to Louisville, and bike runs that they do. And it's just a great group of people. And I mean, there's so many great groups, the Chrome Divas is another group that I try to do some support with. And
so I'm actually one of the main organizers for this wall coming into Shepherdsville. And that's the only group I'm having a hard time getting a hold of to help with the escort. I'm bringing the wall in. I've got
follow up with me offline, and maybe we can try to make some connections there.
Thank you.
So I'll do, Carl, is I'll send him your cell phone number, your direct cell phone number. That way he can get with you on that. Because that way we can get the when the wall is coming from Mount Washington into Shepherdsville, they'll need an escort down 44. So I think that'd be pretty cool to have the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association involved with.
Yeah, we got of course the Kentucky Patriot Guard. They're on board. Voodoo Jeep Club, they're on board. Kilroy, I speak to them on the 2nd of November. I'm going out to their meeting, and I would love the opportunity to meet with the combat guys, because I saw them up in Rushville, Indiana when we did the wall up there. So I know they'll be more than interested. I just need to be able to talk to somebody.
Yeah, I just recently helped Kilroy get the Huey out to the Bullitt County Fairgrounds.
Yeah, I remember that.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able. I wanted so badly to get out there to take a ride in the Huey, because when I was a lieutenant, I actually did some time as a infantry rifle platoon leader for the light infantry unit. We did a lot of air mobile in Hueys, so I was so looking forward to that. That bring back a lot of memories.
Yeah,
So a little unknown fact. Little unknown fact about Carl. When he's not doing his law stuff and he's not doing his veteran stuff, him and his wife are sailing around the Caribbean and having a good old time. Now, you just recently completed enough hours to get your what's it called?
I actually have a merchant marine credential by the United States Coast Guard.
Yeah. Now
so
that's cool.
Yeah. So go from ground pounder in the Army to merchant marine with the Coast Guard.
Now, yeah, that's so cool, man. I tell you, I love being on the ocean myself, whether it be with a cruise ship or on when I was in the Marines on the USS Nassau. There's just nothing like it when you're out there and you just look out and you see nothing but water, and it's just so serene out there. It's just amazing, and I can only imagine doing it on a sailboat.
One year we sailed 1,750 miles across the Atlantic from Hampton, Virginia to Antigua in the Caribbean, nonstop for 2 weeks.
Oh, that's awesome. And just to see, like, when you left in Virginia, how dark the water is, and then as you got further south, how the water just starts getting brighter and brighter. It's just it's amazing. It's just
it is different. Although I'm so active, I mean, I run. I'm a runner. I love to. It's one of my hobbies is running, and so I'm always out active every day. And so when you're out, the other thing about being out in the middle of the ocean on a smaller boat, I started going stir crazy. I don't know what it was like for you on a ship. I mean, that's a pretty good sized ship, but I started, every morning it would be, oh, that's a really cool sunrise. Oh, that's a really cool sunset. It was like the same Groundhog Day every day. I started having to deal with it mentally.
So with you being very active as a runner and stuff that you do, what do you do when you're out there for 2 weeks straight? What do you do for exercise?
Well, that time I really didn't. I mean, didn't have much exercise because, someone had to be on watch 24 hours a day. I mean, there's no pulling over, there's no stopping. We had 4 people, so we just rotated shifts all day long. And so, if you're not on shift, you're probably resting or
eating or using the restroom,
eating or resting. And so but we do think about exercise, for extended trips, and also it's kind of difficult too when you're in the ocean, as it's can be kind of choppy, kind of rough. I mean, it's hard to really, but when you're more or less island hopping, and you have a lot more stability and calm water. So I have resistance bands that I use for strength training. Aerobic is a little more challenging, but the strength training, keeping up with that.
Yeah. So what's your favorite island to go visit?
We love St. Lucia. It's very lush. We just really fell in love with the people. And first time we were in St. Lucia, we started hearing all this old country music, like not island music, but old country, which I'm a country music fan myself. But, so we were asking around, they said, like, why are you all listening to all this old country music? And they said, well, in World War II, the Americans had a military base there to look out, for the Atlantic, and brought country music, and it stuck. Okay. And I thought that was interesting.
Okay. So one of my favorite islands that I visited was Barbados. I love the island of Barbados, and then St. Thomas would probably be my next, and then St. Martin. Um, I love the Caribbean. I tell the wife all the time, if I could move, I'm moving to Barbados. That's where I want to go. It's just
Yeah,
beautiful down
yeah.
there. I
Well,
love it.
speaking, since we're talking about the sailing and the, you're talking about being on a Navy ship, not you, I'm sure you know what a plank owner is in the Navy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, for the benefit of people who may not know, a plank owner is if you're assigned to the ship when it's commissioned, you're considered a plank owner. Well, how many Army officers do you know who are plank owners of a Navy ship?
Not many. Maybe one that I know of. Maybe.
Well, now you know one, me.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm well, it's an honorary title, but I'm a plank owner of the USS Herschel Woody Williams.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, I never got to meet him personally. I've seen him at afar, and I'm really good friends with Alex, who's on the board of the organization, and that's amazing right there.
Yeah,
I
well,
wish I
that
could
was another organization that I did some work with was the Woody Williams Gold Star Foundation, and so in recognition of that, yeah, the Woody made me an. I was at his commissioning ceremony in Norfolk.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so, yeah, so he made me an honorary plank owner of his ship.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so when I got recalled in the Marine Corps, so I got out in 2004, right before, or 2001, right before 9/11 happened. I got out in August. 9/11 happened, and I got involuntary recalled. It was the first time the Marine Corps ever got recalled their INR. And after I got out, I got this big parchment paper that said, "Thank you for being a whatever." This was the first time the Marine Corps ever activated the INR. You now have your name etched on Davy Jones's locker, a plank on Davy Jones's locker. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I was like, heck yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. But it was so much fun. I attended the commissioning ceremony of his ship in Norfolk, and I went in uniform, and I think I did see one other Army uniform, but it was very. I mean, the Navy does an amazing job on ceremonies like that. I mean, it was awesome. It was just such an impressive event to witness commissioning the ship, and so being on the ship, and I mean, I've never been on a Navy ship like that before, and how they ring the bell, and especially when an officer departs the ship, and it was pretty neat, departing the ship, and his petty officer would be ringing the bell, and he would say, Lieutenant Colonel, United States Army, departing the ship. Like,
oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Now, the Kentucky Veterans of the Year Awards coming up soon. Ronnie Knuckles is the male Veteran of the Year, and Monica, I can't remember her last name off the top of my head, is the female Veteran of the Year.
Yeah,
correct?
I can't remember either.
I know her name. First name's Monica. I can't remember what her last name is. But I do know Ronnie, and I've talked to him a few times, and really, really swell guy. He owns Sergeant Junket, and he does a lot of things. Volunteering his time, going to disaster areas and helping out, clean up the community, and taking down water and food and stuff like that. So I think he's well deserving of the 2023 Kentucky Veteran of the Year award. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's something, an event that I've been a strong supporter of for many years now.
Yeah,
it's always a good event, and I've used his company personally several times, so they do a good job.
Yeah, he's from what I've seen
here for him.
Yeah, definitely. From what I've seen, they do a really good job. All the reviews are pretty good. I've never had to utilize them myself. but if I ever do, that's probably who I'm going to go with, just because
Mhm.
he's a veteran. And I try to support veterans when it comes to doing like small businesses and stuff like that. I try to utilize them as much as possible. So,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
well, James, you're being awful quiet up here. You got any questions for Mr. Karl Truman?
I'm learning. Trust me, I could sit here all day listening to this gentleman talk.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
I'm learning.
Carl's amazing.
Well, and talking about the podcast I'm doing, when I do podcasts, a lot of people just assume, okay, it's probably on some boring legal topic. I interview a lot of diverse people, for a lot of different things. I don't want to just talk about although I think there are a lot of legal subjects that maybe people would be interested in, but I try to talk about a lot of different things, not just some boring legal topic.
Right. Well, I'll tell you who would be a good guest for your show is that guy right there that's being awful quiet up there.
Mhm.
His story alone, with being, in Somalia during Operation Gothic Serpent, that 17-hour firefight with the 10th Mountain,
Mhm.
then coming home and dealing with cancer, surviving cancer,
Mhm.
and everything else that he's got going on with in his life, and he's still upright, standing, wanting to help serve the veteran community. That's a hell of a story right there, let me tell you.
Absolutely. That would be.
So,
That would be.
and then me and you talked offline. We started that veterans roundtable, tip of the spear veterans roundtable with other veteran podcasters, and bringing in special guests. We just had our first one. We got another one coming up November, sometime the latter part of November, right before Thanksgiving. So once I get some more details on the dates, I'll send that to you, because I know you were
Yeah,
interested in that. So, but yeah,
absolutely.
we're going to try to bring in, some 1-star generals as well, retired and stuff like that. So, um, I'm thinking that's going to be a really good thing, because we're not just focusing on a veteran and their story. We're not just focusing on, VSOs at that time. We're actually talking about current events that are going on
Mhm.
within the world today. So,
Oh,
uh,
I'd love to be involved in that. That would be very interesting. And, one of the things that I've always thought would be interesting is to be able to develop a networking of veteran business owners,
yeah,
because so many of us, and it doesn't really matter what business you're in, we all have very similar issues, whether it's, employees, benefits, or, HR or marketing. And, I've been running a business, even though people think being a lawyer is a professional job, it's still a business. I mean,
right.
I still have corporate things to deal with. I still have employee issues, HR issues, making payroll. So in marketing, I've been studied marketing for many years. And so, at this stage in my life, if I can ever mentor or coach a fellow veteran business owner, feel free to reach out to me. If you're a veteran business owner and you're thinking about some marketing topic or something, I'm happy to try to give any feedback I can.
Well, give everybody your email, that they can reach you at, if they do have questions or they need your assistance on something.
Sure. Well, my email is Karl Truman. That's KarlTruman, all one word, at trumanlaw.com. And, of course, my office number is 502-222-2222.
Just dial
Should be able,
twos.
yeah, you should be able to remember that. So, yeah, I'm happy to spend time, talking to any veteran business owner about, business issues. I'm
And,
not a
and
business I'm not a business lawyer. That's not what I do, but I'm a business owner to be able to
right.
share experiences.
And for me, like if I got questions or whatever, I'd normally hit Carl up on instant messenger and be like, "Hey, I got this," And I know he's busy, so I don't always expect him to respond right away. But usually within a day, he'll respond back and he'll answer my question, or he'll call me and we'll talk about it or whatever. So he definitely means what he says when it comes to if you got questions that need to be asked. If he can help you, he'll help you. If he can't, he will direct you in the right direction to go where you need to get the help. So yeah, I definitely, from my friendship and your friendship, I definitely appreciate you and thank you for being there whenever I had questions and stuff like that. So
yeah, well, you're welcome. I try to do the best that I can.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I know you're busy down in Nashville. You got that big event tomorrow. So I'm going to thank you for your time. And do you got anything else to say before I let you go?
I just think it's wonderful what you all are doing and the information you're putting out. And you know, I'm gonna get on Spotify and subscribe so I can listen to you more regularly.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, sir. And you have a great night. And tell the missus, if she's with you, that I said hello, and hopefully she has a good night.
She's actually right here in the background.
Well, hi, Miss Jenny.
They said she says hello.
Well, Mr. Karl Truman, thank you, sir. You have a great night, and God bless you, sir.
And I love your intro. It's awesome.
Well, thank you very much. It's still a work in progress, but I got a guy at Talents that's done that for me, and he's amazing when it comes to graphic designs and stuff like that. So,
well, I may get in touch with him and do something like that for my podcast.
There you go. He will be more than willing to help you.
Very Absolutely. Cool. All right. So, all right. Well, you all have a wonderful evening. So great to talk to you tonight.
Yes, sir. You have a great night as well.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye. You're welcome. Man, how cool was that, James?
That's pretty badass, to be honest with you. I was taking it all in. I wasn't going to try to interrupt him with some of my goofy questions. I just wanted to listen. You know, that's a lot of knowledge coming out right there.
Yes, he's a wealth of knowledge, and I really mean it. Like when I reached out to Karl many moons ago, I wasn't expecting a message back or anything right away. But man, I tell you what, he responded, and we met in person, and he's just been a really good friend to me. And it's just God, he's just a wealth of knowledge, and the stuff that he does within the veteran community. You know, a lot of people says he does too much stuff, but you can never do too much in the veteran community.
His information needs to be on the back of the Warrior Round trailer.
Well, you and him can talk about that. Yeah, for sure. He loves veterans. You know, with him being a veteran himself, he's just simply amazing. And I just can't thank him enough. And so yeah, Mr. Karl Truman, go visit Karl Truman at trumanlaw.com.
502-222-2222.
Just now twos. So with that being said, I'm going to stop real quick. We're going to pay the bills real quick with our sponsor, because I keep forgetting to throw the sponsor video in there. So talents.com, you can find them on Facebook or talents.com. Here's the video.
Owner of Talents here, and I just want to say that we are ecstatic to be a major sponsor of Homefront SITREP, a community that is ran by veterans and made for veterans. So thank you for tuning in. Talents was formed in order to create a music scene that was together in the form of a collective, so that no one has to do everything on their own. And guess what? We've been doing this for free for over a year. So please go and check out Talents through Facebook or through our official website at www.talents.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you again for tuning in to Homefront SITREP, a veteran-owned and operated podcast just for you.
All right, we are back. Yeah, so go visit talents.com. Simply amazing, everything that they do. James, hang around for a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and do this outro video, and we'll pick up when we hit end. So hang around for just a few minutes.
Okay.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find Homefront SitRep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay safe out there. I got your 6.